Hello people of the internet, I'm Marshall, and if you've seen any of my shorts, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, hello, you're welcome here. Just holler at me anytime. If you want to see this, how I made these, just one person comment and I will make a video for you, just how I can make these. I'm new to trapping, but this is some of the things I've accumulated with my knowledge and doing just a little bit of research, just like how you're probably doing, and stumbled upon this video. I'm using a very basic snare that I made. It's just 332 wire with 332 Fairloos. I did make a little bend on it so it won't back off as easy. I definitely need to add cam locks, but these are pretty crude snares. All you need is the 332 wire, 332 Fairloos, some fencing wire, which I'm using 14 gauge, and the main thing is just some patience. I'll be showing you kind of how to find a good zone to set a trap, and different ways you can set this trap. Here is the very crude snare. One of the methods I'm seeing quite often is, if you have any good tire trails on your property, is you can set them in the trail. I personally don't do that because we have a bunch of rednecks that like to do night driving around here, and a bunch of my friends like to come out here and ride their dirt bikes and stuff, so I like to set them kind of off the ways. Let's just pretend for this situation that this isn't a triple strand fence and the fence went all the way down. But if you have a triple strand, just look around for an area that there's hair on the lower section of the barbed wire. Let's demonstrate that as hair. So then you'd be like, oh, so they're coming through this area if you see a nice beaten down path. But where I would set it here was, here's a little dry creek. It only runs wet whenever it rains heavy, but little low spots under the fence. So if this was a full fence, that would be the low spot right there where they would be hopping under. Where I'll be setting the trap today is right on a little dry creek. We will be having pretty dry weather the next month or so, on and on rain, so I'm going to set a snare in here. But always check in muddy areas for any fresh and obvious prints. I see them coming both ways, so I know that this is a well-traversed trail. I haven't been able to find any much further up the creek, but right about here, I'm seeing a bunch. I'm seeing some raccoons, some possum, but I'm also seeing some coyote. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to get something called a kill pole. And in my case, I'm using literal fence posts. But let me get this camera set up and drug in so I can show you guys kind of how to set it up. So after you've found a good area and you've kind of checked the distance that it is between your kill pole and your snare, that's very important though, because you don't want to get this kill pole set in and have to pull it out and do it 6 or 7 times. So you want to take a little snare, kind of set it off where it will probably be. See how much distance you need to set it in a decent area, and then you want to get that kill pole drug in. It's kind of important to have a kill pole if you want to do it a little bit more humanely. I personally don't like critters, just suffering for no reason. So I want to get them dispatched as quickly as possible. So if you set a kill pole, the theory behind it, and this is how I got mine, was off a kill pole, was the coyote will start pulling and it will keep wrapping itself around the pole. And I don't know what those kids games are called, but it's where you hit the ball around the pole and it keeps getting tighter around it. Basically the same thing. Then eventually the coyote will kind of hang itself and it will be dispatched. I've read online it's anywhere from about 20 minutes to about an hour and a half. It just varies on how floppy around the coyote is, I reckon. So once you've gotten your kill pole set up, you're gonna figure out the good height for your snare, which is, I believe I've read, you want it about like 8 inches off the ground, kind of somewhere right where the chest is, and they'll walk through and it will, they can't walk through it. I've read online also that you want your snare about the size of your hand. People have different hands, so I kind of find that silly. The best way you can do it is just go off about 8 inches. So have 8 inches in between your snare. Next thing you'll need is just some heavy duty fencing wire. I don't have any swivels on mine. I've yet to have an issue with a snap off, but I just started trapping, so I don't know. I could catch some stud coyote now, and next week I'll have to update this video. But what I like to do is I just get some 14 gauge fencing wire, and I will wrap the living hell out of it. I use an excessive amount of wire most of the time, but it holds. So what I'll do, snare, I'll set it roughly where I need it, not exactly where I need it. And I'll just start wrapping this son of a gun. I'll wrap it in there. Make sure you're putting it in the hole. If you're going off of my method, yeah, you're probably going to learn some things, and I'd love it if y'all in the comments kind of shared with some advice with me as well. I'm a young dude, and I want to start trapping, and there's a lot of great videos already out there online. I love it whenever people, you know, communicate and kind of talk throughout the comments and everything about, you know, hey, I did this for years and it worked, and you know, I might try it out here, and that might be the thing I'm missing, to really be catching them every single night out here. I would love to. I heard them last night. I hear them quite often. But after you get a few good wraps around it and you're putting it back in the hole, what I like to do is to, you know, tie off the snare. I'll wrap it back around that fairloo, and I'll just keep wrapping it around the main shaft of everything, just so it kind of keeps it nice and solid in one place too. About the snares that I make, they've been a one-time use. I've had 2 coyotes, I believe, get through the trap, and I had one of the holes set too wide where I think it kind of caught it in its like leg or something, and it just, you know, it slipped out. The other one was, I'll have to put a picture in it, I caught a turkey in one, but I think what happened was a coyote got a turkey and it was trying to hop through the fence hole, and it ended up getting its turkey in the snare. But I may have messed up, as I demonstrated and said. You don't want to, you know, have to pull this fucking thing up. And this is a great demonstration. You see, you always want to make sure that you measure how far away your snare is from your pole, because you might end up in a situation like I am in. But I will easily demonstrate how to kind of get this all fixed up and removed. Now let's just get to it. You want to set that down, you kind of push it forward a little bit. These little T-posts have notches. So just start pulling, rock it to the next notch. Give it a little pull, rock it to the next notch. Give it a pull, next notch. Pull, next notch, pull. Now you got your T-post back out. So I'm gonna move it just a little bit over. I believe that's all right. Set. I'm gonna grab my T-post driver. And don't worry about messing up and everything. You know, I've messed up thousands of times in my life, and I'm sure I'm gonna continue messing up until the day I die. But whenever you get it into a nice comfortable position that you feel like is gonna, you know, gonna work, I have it kind of right where the foot traffic is and everything. You want to set it about 8 inches up, and because you want it to be, you know, low enough where the little, you know, little critters, they'll go underneath it. But any critter that's a little taller, you know, will get its neck in there and it will slowly walk. And I'm sure y'all know how to snare works. You know, click on this video. But this is pretty much it. My snares are very crude. If you have any pointers or any advice, you know, I definitely need to add a cam lock, and I need to add swivels on the end. And I believe I'd have a pretty set snare. I don't really want to get into any of the spring stuff or anything. I literally just use that wire as a little stopper, but I mean, it won't walk itself back up because I did that little bend. So, you know, as it goes down, it will kind of stay down. And as it gets tighter, it kind of stays down. I need to add those little deer stoppers in there because now I'm starting to set in places like this. But I'm gonna get this completely all set up and perfect, and I'll get right back to y'all. Alrighty, I think I got it just how I want it. So hey guys, I'm checking my traps. It's about a week or so, about a week and a half since I last took those video shots and everything. As you can tell, it's a lot greener out here. But on one of my coyotes, I've just dispatched it, and let's just say the snare actually works pretty decently. Not super well though. I can't really tell where it's trapped at right now. The only thing I could tell was that its foot was just stuck. So I'll get him cut out and I will see where his trap was all hooked around him. I wonder if the only thing that had him was the foot. Yes, guys, so the only thing that caught him was his foot. His foot was the only thing stuck in this trap. That's crazy. Well, let's see. Yeah, him. It was stuck in him. So that's kind of crazy, y'all. But the trap does decently work. Not the best trap ever. Not the most crazy trap. I hate catching them like this, but I was able to dispatch him very quick and very efficiently. I got him right between the eyes. I check these traps every single day, so he's only been on here for at max 24 hours. I got him cut down now. Let's get him loaded up.